What's going on, guys? I am here with a pretty incredible producer. This is John Cedris on the line with me, and John actually was able to secure two different licensing contracts with two different music libraries within 48 hours, which when he emailed me last week and told me about it, I was like, what? No, it's not supposed to work that fast. Like, what are you talking about? And he told me that he had basically sent out a bunch of different emails on a Saturday, and by Monday morning, he had quite a few offers actually, and two of them he ended up going with and deciding he wanted to partner with. And believe it or not, as if that weren't enough, I think it was like the next day or very soon after, he had a third one that actually said, "Yeah, we want to work with you as well." So it's really cool to hear this because I love knowing that what I teach and what I offer is actually being used by some of you guys, and you're actually going out there and securing your first contracts in the licensing business. So, John, I'm so excited to have you with me today.
I'm so excited to be here, man. Jesse, I got to tell you, I've grown to be a fan of yours. I thought about doing this licensing thing, and then I stumbled across your page on Facebook or something like that, and I decided to give you a try. And man, ever since I started taking on your system, I've been seeing so many great results. I wasn't expecting to come so fast. Getting a deal I thought was going to be a much longer process, and I took a Saturday to just write a bunch of emails out. What I kind of learned later from you that it's probably not a good idea to send it to so many people, but I did that, and I personalized the letters, and I showed genuine interest and consideration for their time, as what you were saying in some of your videos. Not being that person where you just want to get all your information out and tell everybody about how great you are, because nobody really cares. So I've learned to be like service centered through watching your videos, and being super considerate of their time, because they are so they're busy people that are doing 100 things at once. And I know if I was in their shoes, I don't want to hear about other people's things. I want to know how you can help me. And I feel like developing that kind of language was a skill that was very necessary. Probably the biggest skill, and probably one of the biggest things I learned from your videos was that. And the production stuff and all that kind of stuff. Of course, you have to have a certain level of talent. I think if you're just making dinky music and doing loopy stuff that you're getting loops from, and it's the same loop over and over again. And I can't imagine. I don't know, but I can't imagine that you would get many hits either. But I did get a genuine feeling that they enjoyed the music, the people who had responded. But I was super surprised because it was a Saturday that I took, like 5 hours to just send some emails out, and then and I got like responses not only from libraries, but I got a connection with a lady who was an Emmy Award winning something in production, and she gave me advice, which I thought was really weird. But I do credit the template that came with your library, that the list of libraries that you sent out. I think it was like $45 or something. And in that library, I came across this lady. She said she got good vibes from me, and now she wants to help me. I mean, this is an Emmy Award winning woman or artist who's been there, done that, and now for some reason I can't even figure it out, but she wants to help me. So aside from just licensing deals, I got this other mentor now who, wow, I never thought that would come out of that, and I credit it to the language in the letter that was sent out, and it being service centered and all the things that you talk about in your videos. But yeah, in 48 hours, I got two deals, or two offers, I'll say. And one of them was so interested that they immediately, right when I said I was super interested, they sent me a contract, they sent me details, they sent me like, assignments to do, or just right away, they were super interested. And that was a good feeling for me, because first of all, I don't have that much experience as far as licensing goes, or making deals in music, period, but just that feeling that you get when somebody just likes your music and wants you to be a part of it, that was a big thing for me. So, I read the contract, and I really took the time to take a look at it. I asked some questions, and it made sense to me, the deals that they were making. And it was for an exclusive library. So I said, oh, okay, well, I'll try this out. I see the benefits in that, I see that these people are wanting to be serious. They want to get to know me. They want to shake my hand. They're asking the right questions, you know, and not only that, but they have a genuine belief that I would fit into their company. So of course that's the one I pick, you know. And then there's like other ones like that are libraries that just want your content, you know, and they just put it in this big bag, and they hope that somebody buys it, and if they do, you know, they give you a little percentage of what, you know, what it's worth, I think, or maybe not what it's worth is the right language, but of what you could be getting somewhere else if it wasn't there. So
Absolutely, man. And I think, you know, John and I were talking before we started going live here about some of those really good signs you should see from a library before you decide to sign with them. And that's definitely one of them, is them asking you, what are you all about? How long you been producing music? What are your long-term goals in the licensing business? You plan on sticking in with this for a while? Can we count on you? We have a lot of work. We have a lot of clients. Basically, what they're really saying, excuse me, saying is, can you be a valuable team member here, right? It is a team effort to run a library and a catalog. And they probably have their solid group of inner circle, you know, 5 or 6, sometimes more dozens of writers. And if you're going to jump into that team, you're the new guy, right? Or the new girl. And you got to prove yourself, right? And so if they're asking you these really good, almost critical questions of you, it's a really good sign. Okay, so don't take it the wrong way that they're sort of maybe double, you know, doubting your commitment to the licensing business. It means that they're a legit operation, and they want to make sure that you're a legit operation too, because that's all they're going to do business with. And just like John was saying, there are those other companies that are just going to send you, you know, not to say that you can't get placements with them, but they'll just send you the template responses. Thank you so much, John. We appreciate this. Go ahead and log into our portal and upload your tracks. Here's our template licensing agreement. Go ahead and click accept, and there it is, right? Not to say you can't get some placements in those kind of companies, and maybe if you have some leftover tracks that haven't been accepted by maybe your primary A or B library, you can throw them there. But that kind of a situation, you're not building any personal relationships, all right? You're just going to throw tracks onto somebody's shelf. Hopefully it's not going to be a dusty shelf, and you'll get some placements eventually. But having that personal touch, like getting a phone call, getting a personal email, it goes a long way in making sure that you're going to develop these really solid personal relationships. Remember, this is a people business, right? John's a person. The library owner is a person. You got to like each other, right? You got to get, I shouldn't do this. You got to like each other. You know, you got to be like friends with each other in a way. And so making sure that you get that personal connection, it's like your insurance policy that like you're signing with a good company. It's definitely some good advice there. Now, John, you've been producing for a long time, and you're primarily a hip hop urban producer. You do R&B, you do a bunch of different stuff, but primarily hip hop trap is where your lane is.
Sure.
So what was it about music licensing that drew you into it? What was attracting you about the business of licensing your music?
Well, you know, I understand that, you know, of course, every musician thinks they have the best music around, you know, and I love my music, but I understand the difference between an endorphin rush and what other people like, you know. But what made me want to get into it was, you know, hope isn't a strategy for me, you know. I don't want to just aim for a hit record and not make any money along the way, you know. And in my search for a hit record, I figured, what are some other ways I could probably potentially be making money? I already know I'm going to be doing this in the long run. So instead of having all this content that I have sitting in a hard drive somewhere, how can I use that content somewhere else? At least the skills that I have developed building this content, how can I use those skills to do something that can potentially make me some money in the long run, you know? And so I felt like when I watched your videos and I heard more details about it, I felt like this is the perfect industry for me because there is no real time limit. You know, it's you work at your pace. Of course, the more you make, the better. But at the same time, there's a great feeling being a creative person. There's a great feeling knowing that your music is somewhere, not just in your studio. You know, it's also somewhere. And if it's done the right way, I think it could be in the right hands. And while you're out creating more music, something could potentially be happening with the music that you've already created. And all of that kind of stuff it's exciting for me, you know, just the fact that somebody else somewhere has my music. And when it comes to one of the companies that I'm working with now who gave me that personal touch, you know, sought me out on Facebook and wants to be my friend on Instagram and all these kind of things, they really sought me out. So to know that they have some of my music and they're really searching for something in it, that's fascinating to me, because I think a lot of times as musicians, we'll talk to anybody that will listen, or show our music to anybody that will listen, and I think it gives me that exhaust pipe, if you will, I guess, that gives me that feeling, that psychological space that I need to just know, that peace of mind that somebody who really likes it and who can do something about it is listening closely,
That's
and
awesome, man. And yeah, you definitely reminded me when you were talking about it's just nice to know that your tracks aren't sitting around collecting dust. So if you're a producer watching this right now and you're and this is ringing true to you, that you have a hard drive or a computer, you got hundreds or thousands of tracks that are just sitting there, not even potentially collecting royalties. Now, obviously, just getting your tracks in a catalog doesn't guarantee they get placed, but at least they potentially can, right? And if they're really good and you keep delivering really good stuff, you're going to get those music supervisors and editors that look up your name, either it's your producer name or your birth name. They're going to look you up in the system and be like, yeah, this guy always has the best hip hop tracks. Always put them in there, right? It's always licensable. They're always great. They're not, like you were saying, not loopy. He creates some interest along the way. So we can, you got to make their lives easier, right? So if you are a producer with dozens, hundreds, or thousands of tracks collecting dust on a hard drive, I highly encourage, and it doesn't matter how old you are, right? This is not a young man's industry. It doesn't matter how old you are. As long as they are high quality, licensable tracks, you can be a player in this business. And you might as well have your tracks out there somewhere, right? John and I were talking about this as well, that if you have maybe like a primary exclusive library that you're submitting to, and then maybe you have a non-exclusive sort of backup library, then let's say you submit 10 tracks to your exclusive. If they only take 8 of them, they say, no, those last 2 are kind of not so much. Well, you got a place for them, right? They don't go on the hard drive collecting dust, and then 2 years later, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that track. And what's it doing? It's not doing anything. You should have another outlet, like he was saying, an exhaust pipe, somewhere else that you can drive this stuff to, so it could at least potentially be driving you a little bit of income. And that's such a smarter way to be a producer because you're already producing music. Why not be paid for it? It just seems like I think anybody watching this video will agree. If you're producing music and you think you make pretty decent music, don't you think you should make some money for that? Like, that's a really good skill to have. It's a really valuable skill to have if you can figure out how to serve marketplaces. That's really the whole name of this whole YouTube channel. Everything that I do is just about teaching you guys that, okay, you can be creative. You can make great tracks. I don't have to teach you guys necessarily how to do that. Of course, I can provide a little bit of feedback on how to make it better for the TV film world. But obviously, at the end of the day, it's your creativity, it's your brain, it's your heart that's going to drive your music. But business skills, just to direct all of that creative energy in a more productive way. So you're not just, oh, I'm going to go work with that artist because they're really popular. I'll try to get a lot of placements with them or a lot of attention. It didn't work out. All right, let me just go over here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to sell some beats and try that for a while. And you just start running around your whole career. And by the end of it, you didn't go anywhere. You went in a big circle and it didn't go anywhere. So having more of a very defined trajectory, or like John's approach here, which is that he's still writing beats, he's still trying to write hit songs, but now he has another outlet. So if it doesn't work as a hit song, he's got this really cool thing called music licensing you can throw those tracks into. And that's another really awesome approach that I encourage anybody who's producing music to consider. Okay. It is possible. John's an average guy. Okay. I'm an average dude. We're nothing really special about us. We work hard, right? And we're persistent. John's been at this for a long time. But it's very possible. Okay. We have the technology now to do this. And I want to kind of actually finish up with that. John, you were saying that you're primarily a digital producer. You don't really have much analog stuff going on. Talk about your setup and talk about how you've really simplified your entire production process.
Sure thing. I really feel like one of the things that's I don't see much of on YouTube, maybe I'm not looking close enough, but very, very few people talk about workflow and having a fast way to get to your ideas. I meet a lot of people who are great producers, but lose so many ideas because, they have their keyboard on one side of the room and they have their microphone on another side of the room, and they don't have that place where they can sit down in one spot and do everything, and so So I think, my setup is very basic. I have an MPC Touch. I have basic equipment that's all digital. I have amplifiers. I have a system of listening to bass when I want more, when I don't. So when I'm making beats, of course, I want more bass. So I want the feeling. But long story short, I have very basic equipment, monitors, just the basic tools that I need to make music. I have the drum machines, the keyboards. The keyboard I have, it finds all the basses across all my plugins, and it puts them in one place. So if I'm searching through sounds, I don't have to open up 10, 15 different plugins. I just go to this keyboard and I got 700 basses. Wow. And now after I played the basses and I played the music, now as it's playing, I can shuffle through different bass sounds to see if a different one fits better. But I don't have to replay it, find a sound. All that kind of stuff is like, it's such the long way to do it, and I think it was something we were limited to in the analog world of having to do. But now things are mathematical, and there's a formula for everything, and learning that whole process, from the time that I put the password in my computer when I turn it on to being up in a session and being able to record something is less than a minute for me. And so the idea is, if I can get to it quicker, I'm going to make more of it. And so the idea in music licensing is, of course, you want to make as much as you can. And if you're like me, you can't quit your day job yet. So you might have an X amount of hours that you allocate to do music, and you want to be as fast and productive in those hours that you can. And just having a steady, fast workflow for me has been the answer for that. The answer. So that's something I would highly recommend is having a super fast workflow. And then the other thing is everything is digital. My mixing console is a MIDI thing that I use when I'm tracking vocals. My interface is probably, I got 8 inputs on my interface in case I ever want to record a live band or whatever. A headphone preamp with eight headphone capability.
Which DAW do you work with?
I got Pro Tools, so I'm a big Pro Tools fan. I like Avid. I know it's a little bit expensive, but I do stay current with it, and I like the stock plugins that it has. But
that's awesome, man. It's something to think about. Those of you that want to get started in licensing, you do have to adapt to and embrace and learn to love technology. I know that some producers are like, the analog was better. I wish that. Okay, great. You're going to be kind of left behind though, because love it or hate it, you could still use some analog gear if you'd like to, but you got to be fast. And these tools, like John's saying, enable you to be super fast. Why wouldn't you want to embrace something that makes your life in terms of producing music easier? That's all for me. That's all technology. Yes, of course, things break. Even trying to do this interview, we had issues with Google, of course. But those are minor problems compared to we're able to video chat live. I don't think you guys realize this is something that we used to think was so futuristic. Oh my gosh. So technology is, and as soon as we have it, we're like, yeah, okay, let's just do a Google chat. We just take it for granted. Yeah, we can just video chat, no problem, right? But I remember being a kid thinking wow, we're going to have video screens where we can see each other while we talk. I always thought that was a cool thing. Same thing with the music technology that we have going on right now. The string sounds sound just as real and lifelike as orchestras. Okay, we're going to have some of those audio snobs. No, it's not. It's okay. Maybe you can tell. 99% of the human race can't tell. Okay, we're at that point where we have passed Turing's test for these string samples because they were recorded like real strings, and the way that they're synthesized and programmed with your keyboard and what you can do with the modulation and automation to make it believable enough. I'm getting to the point where I'm going to be selling all my guitars and basses because all these plugins now, the guitars sound real, the bass sounds real. I've been done with drums for a long time. I've been using programmed drums for so long, and just John was telling me before, it's so powerful to be able to I don't like that guitar, swap it out the preset, boom, boom, and you don't have to go re-record it, plug in another amp, spend 4 hours getting the right tone. No, it's a button, click, click, cool. So you got to be able to embrace that side of music production for this to work for you. It's just, I'll be honest with you, you got to be fast. You got to start developing your skills much faster probably than you ever have. You can still be fun, you can still be enjoyable, but what these tools will allow you to do is to get the clutter out of the way, all the technical, plugging in this and that, all that stuff, and go directly to the music. And isn't that what you want to do anyways? You just want to have the ideas that are in your head and in your heart come right out through the speakers, right? We're getting there. We're going to have like a mind connection at some point, and you literally will be able to just think your music and you'll start hearing it back to you. Not there yet, a couple more years, but that's where we're headed right now. So you do need to embrace that and sort of take advantage of it, and understand it's, technology and digital stuff. It's not something to be afraid of. It's something to be used. You can use it to actually empower yourself. So anyways, John, we're going to wrap it up, man. But thank you so much for being here. If you could give, and I know you're new into the business, but if there's something you can give as sort of from your brief time already, just even getting accepted though. I know there are a lot of producers watching this that still haven't gotten that first contract. Now that you've been on both sides, right? Friday you were on the side of, is this going to work? I don't know. And then Monday you're on the other side of it. So if you can give a little bit of some advice, some sort of perspective that you can offer those of you that have not even gotten that first contract yet.
Well, I'll tell you what, I would say the template that you provide is a great template that came with that. And I know I think there's 3 templates in there. So if you always want to send the same one, I think using those was a good thing. But, I think I actually did something that was kind of against the recommendation, and I sent out too many emails, but, the response that I got back, luckily, was limited to the amount of people I probably should be working with. So I would say sharpen up, make a nice, sweet, personable letter, and make it a service-centered letter, something that is not me, but a lot of you. And this is, I'm confident in my ability to help you and your company. I would, and maybe a little bit of me in the middle. This is how I can help, and then end it with a thank you again for your time. Your time is so valuable to me, and thank you for that, and for considering me and my music and what you're doing, and then that, I think I gotta say that, and then also, don't send bad music. I don't know. Everybody thinks they have the best music, and I understand that, but I think one of the biggest skills that I've developed was just realizing that endorphin that you get rewarded with from creating something. I mean, painters get it. Anybody who creates anything gets that. We built something, we did it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's great. But however, if you're making music for yourself, then who's to say that it's great? Who cares? You make good music, it's great, you win. That was your objective. If your objective is to make music because you have fun and because you want girls, you'll probably get girls from it too. You'll get women, and you'll probably get a lot of fun. And if those were your only objectives, then you win in music. You win. But if you want to make music for other people, then I would say that listen to a lot of music that's happening now and what people are listening to, and step outside of yourself and make great music. And if it doesn't sound like the stuff that's out, and it's still great music though, then why not give it a shot? I mean, it's a creative thing. This is all subjective anyway, But I'd say my number one advice as far as trying to get people in is I would say really sharpen up that letter. And come across as somebody who's just as interested in helping them, because not just because you don't want them to win and you lose. That shouldn't be the feeling. But I think the feeling should be, I heard about you guys. I'm interested in working with you guys. You seem like a reputable music library, and I feel like I have a lot of things that can help you, and I have a lot of tools that are in my journey of creating my own music developed that I'm certain can help you. So if you have the time, precious time that I know that you have, if you have it, please give it a listen. And if not, good luck in music. Good luck. I really hope you do, but if not, good luck in music. And so I guess, long story short, developing the skill to have that kind of feeling in your language when you're communicating with them, I think is a really, really, really
That's powerful, man. I like that. Yeah, I think you said 2 really powerful things, and I think everybody watching this video should remember these 2 things. You should be saying them often, and you should be typing them often, and whoever you're doing business with. The first one is, how can I help? Right? That's really all John's letter said. How can I help? And maybe he answers some of that. This is my music. Here's what I can do. But it looks like you guys need some help with some music. How can I help? Nobody is going to ignore an email that says, how can I help you? Most people, even if they don't say yes, they're going to read it because they're like, I don't know. How can you help? And they're going to want to just see what your pitch is. What are you going to do? Number two is thanks again. And that's what John was saying at the end of his letter. He always probably started off with, thank you so much for your time. Here's my demo. Here's some music. And at the very end of the email, again, thank you so much for your time. People who say thanks again twice probably get ahead twice as far in life. I really do think that's kind of a rule. Like when you do that second, like, hey, by the way, I do want to recognize one more time that I realize this is taking time away from your schedule to do what you're supposed to be doing with your writers, with your clients and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to, again, just recognize that and say thank you one more time. So how can I help? And thanks again. Those are really powerful phrases to really succeed in any industry, not just the licensing business. So John, thank you so much, man. If you guys want to check out John's beats, check out what he's been doing, click on the links below. I got all his links down there. You can check out his SoundCloud. You can check out all of his social media links. So definitely go take a listen to what he's been doing. And John, thank you so much for being with us today, man. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Jesse, for mentoring me through all this stuff. It's opened up a whole world to me, and I'm really excited about it, for the long term. And I can't thank you enough, man. There you go. I said thank you twice.
Following advice that quickly, man. All right, we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.